Okay, we're looking section 3.3, number 11. Want to find the vertex, want to find the axis of symmetry. So two things we need. We are given the function f of x is 2/5 x squared minus 4x plus 14. And since they asked for the vertex and the axis of symmetry, we're going to use the same relationship for both. It's this x equals the opposite of b over 2a. So that is how you find the axis of symmetry. That is going to be a line. X equals that number. It's a vertical line. And then because the vertex is on the axis of symmetry, that's the x value of the vertex. You just plug it into the function and get the y value. So we need two things from the function. We need b, which is this guy, minus 4. And then we need a, which is this guy, the 2/5. Now, this is probably going to make this a little bit trickier, having that as a fraction, but it's totally doable. All right, so let's go ahead and start. X is, now it's negative b, or the opposite of b. This is already a negative 4. So you can either do negative, negative. Here, I'll just write that down. You can do the negative, negative 4. Or you can just make it positive right away. I already wrote it as negative, negative, so we'll leave it there. And then we're going to do 2 times. Now, this is what throws people sometimes, makes it seem a little bit more challenging, is the fact that we have that fraction in the denominator. Creates what's called a compound fraction. Having a fraction in the top or the bottom looks a little crazy. But I'll show you how to tackle it. It's totally doable. First off, let's make that numerator 4. And then I'm just going to go ahead and multiply these two fractions. It's 2 times 2 over 5. When we multiply fractions, we're just going to multiply straight across. So I'm going to make that 4 over, let's see, that would be 4/5. Now, if you're not super comfortable doing that step in your head, the calculator will do it for you. We can do 2 times the fraction. Now, anytime I enter fractions, I always put them in parentheses. I think that's the answer for the end. Get rid of that. Let's do 2 times the fraction 2/5. So again, I always put my fractions in parentheses because sometimes you need to and sometimes you don't. If you always do it, then you don't have to worry about when you have to and when you don't have to. Okay, calculator is always going to spit you back a decimal, but most calculators should be able to change it back into a fraction. So I do math, make it a fraction, and it's 4/5, so same answer. Okay. All right, so I'm at x equals, move it up just a little bit, 4 over 4/5, which is basically 4 divided by 4/5. Right, this big fraction bar is a division problem. So I'm going to just multiply by the reciprocal. When you divide by fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. So this becomes 4 times 5 over 4. And now it becomes quite nice because these 4s will just cancel out, right? 1 in the top, 1 on the bottom. So I end up with 5. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 5. Move it up so you can see it. Axis of symmetry. All right, and that is going to be x equals 5. It's a vertical line going through 5 at the x-axis. So that's the first answer. Now, I was just going to show you, if you don't like this whole process of doing it by hand, you can enter this all into the calculator in one step. Let's see what we would need to do. Oh, we can see it. Okay. Clear all that out. I can even do the negative, negative, right? Negative, negative 4. And I'm going to divide that by, now the entire bottom needs to be in parentheses. So really what I'm going to do is put parentheses around this whole bottom. So I'll set up parentheses and I'll do 2 times, now parentheses for the fraction, 2/5. Close those parentheses. So the black one is closed here. And then I got a pink one, so I have a double parenthesis there at the end. And you can see it gives me that same answer. It does give me 5. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to plug this x equals 5 into the function. So I'm going to do f of 5. And that will give me a corresponding y value. So maybe I can zoom out so we can see kind of the whole function. I can write it all at once. There we go. This function, so it's going to be 2/5 times 5 squared minus 4 times 5 plus 14. And for sure, at this point, I want to use the calculator. So let's go ahead and plug that guy in. Whatever calculator you use, make sure you're really practicing on the one that you get to use on the test. So let's see, that's going to be 2/5 times 5 squared, right, minus 4 times 5 plus 14. And that value is 4. So f of 5 is 4. And that means that my vertex is going to be the coordinate 5, 4. All right, it's on the axis of symmetry. has a y value of 4. These are our two answers. Hope that's helpful. Message me anytime with questions.